What's some popular self-care, self-love advice that is actually really toxic? Show them what they're missing. No, just do better for yourself. Live your truth. There is a fine line between authenticity and being an asshole. If they can't handle my worst, they don't deserve my best. Funny how those people are always at their worst. Always trust your feelings. This advice is everywhere. No. Oftentimes our feelings require introspection to work through them and make positive change. That you should expect unconditional support, love and acceptance from friends or romantic partners. Popular idea, but if people really care they will tell you when you're harming yourself or others rather than just keep the vibe chill. Advice to surround yourself only with positive people. If you're willing to cut people from your life when they are a bit down, that's a recipe for people hiding the negatives in their life from friends. Only discussing the positive and having mostly superficial friendships, for fear of you being cut out of their lives. Not saying you need to keep people in your life who are treating you badly, but we all go through times when we are up and times when we are down. Friends give you their time through both. The sort of positivity that relies on dragging other people down. I see it the most around body image issues in particular, but can apply to other things too. And I just think it's really sad. It doesn't solve any of the underlying issues, just makes more people feel rubbish about themselves. Cut off anyone that doesn't bring you peace. Obviously this applies to people who are constantly, deliberately making you miserable. But a stressful situation or argument with a friend that you care about doesn't count if you haven't attempted to work it out with them. It's not really advice, but it's popular for people to label themselves as brutally honest. Honesty is good, but beware of people who are more interested in the brutality than the honesty. Once you fall out of love with someone, you cannot fall back in love with them. Worst advice I ever got. I'm so glad I gave it a second try. Stop texting people first to see who your friends are. What if they're doing the same thing and you just ended a friendship due to a misunderstanding? Edit. Okay, this blew up more than I thought. There's a lot of people saying, well, what about in this scenario? What about this? What about this? And thing is, in some scenarios this is good advice, but in a lot of cases this is terrible advice. Like yes, if you're the only one doing work in the friendship then maybe you should re-evaluate it, but it also could be someone is going through something that you don't know about and they really don't want to talk to anyone at that time. So what I was really trying to say is that this isn't a solution for everyone. It's really just a solution for some. Be who you are is only good advice if you're a good person. Why are you sad? You have everything to be happy. Even if there's few happy things in your life, you don't need to be ashamed to feel sad or depressed. Guilt is a wasted emotion. Pretty sure it was Wayne Dyer who published this nonsense in the 80s. Having at least some guilt is a good sign that you're not a psychopath. Do whatever feels right. Sometimes what feels right is cutting your veins open, but that's not gonna heal you. Detoxes and cleanses. Any kind of advice that tells you to test friendships by withholding contact to see if they'll notice or straight up tells you to drop friends that don't reach out to you regularly. This is a very selfish and passive-aggressive thing to do. If you miss your friend, then call them up. Don't play cat and mouse games. Maybe they have shit going on in their lives. The world does not revolve around you. If people don't like you for you who are, that's their problem. No, sometimes you're the as-whole. 9/10 the common denominator rule stands. Follow your heart. Honestly, this statement almost never works. Sometimes love can be toxic. And maybe the correct decision is painful. Maybe it pains you to leave someone. Your heart shouldn't rule you. Edit. First, thanks for all the feedback on this. I enjoy seeing what others think on this issue. But seeing what a lot of people are saying, response, I wanted to clear something's up. First off, I'm not saying to never follow your heart, and to always pick the typical logic route. Sometimes risks are good. Whether it be with taking a risk for a new job or starting a new relationship. What the point I was trying to get across is not to follow your heart blindly. Use logic. If there is a bad situation, get out, no matter what your heart thinks. The how not to give a frock nonsense. I agree. Don't give a frock what people think if you enjoy a certain type of music. But do give a frock about how your actions affect other people. Unfortunately, it seems that many people just take it to mean, don't care that you might hurt other people. In order to self-care and self-love, it is important to consider what consequences your actions have on the world around you. The whole blood is thicker than water. Advice where you should feel obligated to be loyal to your family no matter what. If they are toxic or abusive, then there is no reason for you to keep that around in your life, especially if it is detrimental to your own well-being, mental health. Testing friendships, relationships unnecessarily or the movement that insists that you can be healthy at any weight. Just be yourself. Myself is a guy who likes to work minimum wage. part-time jobs that require no mental input, and then spend the rest of his time playing video games and eating junk food. He's overweight, underpaid, and has no interaction with his friends or family. I don't want to be myself. I want to be a better version of myself. Edit. After reading some of these replies, I feel like I should add a bit more detail. I realized that if I just stayed myself, stayed happy as I was, my life was going to end up going nowhere. That was about 11 years ago. I'm in a much better position in life. Currently, I still have to fight against that instinct, but it's easier now that I have momentum. Find a job you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. First of all, even a job you love is going to suck. Often, that's why they pay you to do it. This advice leaves you feeling like a failure whenever you have a bad day at work. Plus, there's a lot of value in working for a living and finding your satisfaction at a more personal level. Nobody needs psychiatric medication. Just go outside for some fresh air and listen to the birds. This is a cure. Shows a picture of the woods. This is poison. Shows some antidepressants. Shut the frock up. Some people need antidepressants to function. Going for a walk in the woods will not just magically cure your depression. Be a bad B*TCH. What kind of life are you living? A Wattpad story? Is your dad a mafia? I don't understand some people. Edit. I know that means, be self-assured and be confident. I just think that is not a good way to tell someone to be confident. Please don't hate me. Thanks. And thank you Kevin 24701 for saying that. No proper person should want to describe themselves as bad unless they are just selfish. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Basically just a green light to be a city human being. YOLO. No, you only die once. You live every day. Edit. My very first gold. Thank you. Anything with detoxify in the description. If you have a liver, you already do this. A juice cleanse isn't going to make up for your bottle of vodka and may even make it worse. The knee-jerk. Dump. He's probably, definitely, cheating on you. Advice you get in our relationship advice. Don't hate your parents. However they are, they're still your parents. Frock this. I don't support child abuse a single frocking bit. When people say, no one is too busy to talk to someone they care about. This is so toxic to expect people to talk to you every day. Yes, sometimes people have other stuff going on in their lives. It doesn't mean they don't care. You have to love your body. Motherfrocker, I'm short, bald, ugly, and I have chronic pain. My body betrays me at every turn. Frock that guy. You can be anything you want if you try hard enough. Some people have gifts and talents that other people don't. That's the reality. And even though hard work will get you far, there are points where you need to acknowledge that you won't be the best at everything, even if you love what you do. And you aren't cut out for every vocation. Man up. Keep it together. Or, be strong. When you're either in pain or on the verge of tears for different reasons. As if crying is a sin when you're a guy. Happiness is a choice. Damn, I must be choosing depression then I guess. Edit. I'm not saying it's flat out wrong. This is actually good advice. The problem is that it implies a lot more. It being phrased better would solve a lot of the issues I have with it. Especially in regards to depression and other illness. Snarky put it into better words than I could. Your choices directly affect your happiness. Would be better. Not as catchy but much better without the same implication. People who are saying that it's somewhat true. That's what I'm saying. People trying to. Actually. Me are essentially repeating what I said lol. Everything happens for a reason. Enough said. I think. Stop looking for love and it will come to you. Maybe that works if you're naturally attractive and naturally interested in things that enhance your attractiveness. I.e., working out, makeup, fashion, whatever. But if you're a shy, introverted person of average to below attractiveness, this is good advice to stay sad and alone forever. The girls who are always posting about, treat yourself. Or, if he doesn't treat you like a queen emoji, it's time to find a new one. One is bad financial advice. If you know you can't afford something, don't do it. And the other is not how partnerships work. You should be each other's best friends, not worshipped like he's your subjects desperate for your approval. If your ideal relationship is one of superiority instead of equality, then you probably have mental health issues. If you can't handle me at my worst, why you don't deserve me at my best. If you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? Can I get an amen? I love my girlfriend. I love my friends. I love my family. I love my cat. Still don't love myself. But that doesn't make my love for others any less meaningful. IDK if this counts as self-love advice. But don't text first. If they really care, they'll initiate a conversation. Is a nice way to get yourself lonely. Anything is possible if you work hard enough. No, not everything is possible. You're not going to be the new Nelson Mandela, frocking president of the USA, or the new pop artist. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's true. Astrology? I'm glad it gives you comfort, but if you start basing life decisions on the effects of the stars, you're probably going to have a bad time. You never know what you have until it's gone. This saying is intended to remind you to appreciate what you have and cautions that if you don't and it leaves you will regret it. This saying popped into my head a million times after I left my abusive ex. Context really matters with these life mantras, wellness advice. No one can hurt your feelings without your permission. Bullshit. If someone I care about says something offside, of course I will consider it truth until I prove otherwise. That's just respect. I'm not going to blindly assume everyone is wrong if they say something that hurts. I think that advice is trying to turn people into sociopaths. The advice being quoted in here are toxic when taken as absolutes. It's not bad advice if you use it as one viewpoint among many, and balance it out with others. Live like you were dying. Wait, after quitting my job and burning all my money traveling, and I'm not dead afterwards, how am I supposed to pay my bills now? Make everything all about you, because you're worth it. Don't take no for an answer. Pester them until you get a yes. Single quote. For lonely people, you can't love others until you learn to love yourself. While having self-respect is important in establishing a healthy relationship, to some this can lead to a downward spiral of feeling unlovable because they're incapable of self-love. Burning bridges and cutting people off, ghosting them with no explanation because you're no longer getting what you want out of the relationship and you don't owe them anything. Okay, it's one thing if we're talking about an abusive relationship, but this mentality seems to promote childish, conflict-avoidant behavior masked as self-care, aka good vibes only. You should never feel bad or uncomfortable. How do you ever learn and grow?